Greetings, everybody. Um, my name is Sagnik Ghosh, and finally, we have the concluding series of the topic of systems. So, today, here I'll be sharing with you all the replacement which I found to TOK applications of systems, which are actually real life applications of systems, how our systems are used in real life. I covered a little part of this too, actually quite extensively in the last video, but here's something that has even more concrete evidence than this PPT. Let's continue. So, my main question to you is, how will you benefit knowing about systems? Well, the thing is, it is actually very difficult for me to say how you can use that knowledge. Um, Knowledge affects people in very different ways. Somebody might link it to something which I couldn't even think of in 100 years. So it's very difficult for me to say how it could benefit each and every one of you. So what I will be sharing is something very generalized. So something like uh, the things that everybody needs, like such as buying groceries and so on. So how will you benefit knowing about systems there? Let's continue. So, well, maybe buying groceries is too general of an example. I must specify it even more. So, if you are a science student, knowing about systems will benefit you very much. So, the main reasoning behind this is you will be able to understand questions which specify in an isolated system or in an open system, or concepts such as insulating a beaker to not let energy escape, which is an application of the knowledge from isolated systems, which is a system without matter and energy exchange. So all the matter and energy stays within that system and cannot get out. So this improves our critical thinking because we can align our thought process with the demands of the situation, whichever situation we are in. Um, it might be a question, or it might be somebody who's just asking you to improve their own knowledge. So when somebody asks you these questions, then explain to me your system, explain this to me. You should always take up the challenge and always try to explain this to them, because this will improve your own concepts. Teaching will improve your own concepts, and it will always try to, and you will find out yourself where are the gaps in your own learning. So I personally try to do this when I'm learning, when I'm studying something. So I try to explain it to. I'm imagining that I'm explaining that concept to somebody to make sure that I fully grasp it. So I encourage you to do that. So this improves your critical thinking because you can align your thought process with the demands of the situation. For example, if a situation specifies in an isolated system, you can relate that the total momentum, mass, energy, number of moles, so on, like many other things, they remain constant as it is an isolated system. So that is one way. Now let's look at something very diverse. Complex theory of systems. Complex systems here are broken into a multitude of topic areas, showing the vast expanse of areas wherein complex systems can be applied. Now, what are complex systems? Well, essentially they're the same thing. You can read this definition, but essentially they're systems which are very complex and have a huge range of possibilities wherein interaction between their storages can take place, interaction between their parts can take place. So you see, in so many topics, complex systems can be used. I myself don't know much about these topics, but I thought it wouldn't be very necessary to explain in detail what these topics are. But this just goes to show how important this complex systems concept is. You can apply it in game theory, which is, from what I understand, game theory is a mathematical representation of human behavior. So therein you can use complex systems. So you can see, even I can see here partial differential equations. That is very mathematical in nature. So you see, the understanding of complex systems or systems in general will allow you to have some sort of grasp in these topics, and for your future that might be very, very beneficial. You might be able to choose a career in these topics. So this just goes to show how important and in how many areas systems can be applied. Complex theory of systems. And one more very interesting thing I would like to show you is that the approach of complex systems has been used in analyzing the stability of democracies. Um, and this had been published in the European Journal of Physics in 2018, as you can see here. So the abstract also narrates how complex system theory connects different disciplines, a multidisciplinary approach, and the concept of systems, because the concept of systems are everywhere, be it in nature, human interactions, or machines. Um, so you see the stability of democracy is a complex systems perspective. So in so many ways, we can apply a concept of complex systems or systems in general in our real life, whether it be in politics or in any academic endeavor. If you think hard enough, you're surely to do it. You see here how um, this research paper in this abstract, it is describing the theory of complex systems and how there is a multidisciplinary approach within itself. If you see here, the theory of complex systems is at the least a collection of concepts and methods which bridges disciplines and brings them into focus, processes which act across time and length scales. For some popular account of systems, of complex systems, see all these research articles. So you get the main idea. You see how diverse and how important learning systems are. So that ends our series of systems. That ends our series finally. Um, so I hope we have aligned. I have attempted to align our this video series with the postulates of our group, the Y project, which takes into account the philosophical side of learning. Why are we learning something? Why are we doing these things? Why is something the way it is? Uh, I have I have attempted to answer these questions to you all in this video series, and I hope that you all try to keep this approach in mind when you are learning something new. Always ask your teacher, "Ma'am, why am I learning this?" Or "Sir, why am I learning this?" And never be afraid to ask questions. And the most important thing when you're learning something, to learn it effectively and not to memorize it. Memorization is never learning. It is just a occupation of the space in the brain. It is never learning. So when you're studying something, when you're learning some concept which you find to be difficult, imagine as if you're explaining that concept to somebody. And wherever you struggle, write that place down and work upon it until you can explain it fully. So that's the approach we should all take, and this is the most beneficial for us because we can actually apply this knowledge in our real life. Thank you for watching this video series, and I hope you have learned something. Thank you.